changed your price 16x since you joined the program.
It's 16x. I've never actually thought about that. That's ridiculous. Yeah, it started at 250 and then literally I sold it something for 4,000 in October.
It's never been easier than right now to sell expensive beats using the Rapid Sales System. Today, I'm sitting down with my student Jeremy, who generated over $10,000 in beat deals last month alone without a YouTube channel and without posting any content at all. In this video today, we discuss one, the best way to sell $2,000 worth of beat leases in just 30 days. Two, how he finds serious beat buying artists online entirely for free. Three, how he crafts offers for $4,000 that artists happily pay for and they're not even exclusive. And four, how he collects payment from the artist instantly using Zoom calls. And if you're wondering who I am or if this actually works, I am a Grammy-winning producer and I've been doing this for over 5 years full time. I've helped dozens and dozens of producers make thousands of dollars online using this rapid sales system. So if you also want to work with me one-on-one, just apply with the link in the description or the pinned comment. Now let's hop into the case study. When we started, I believe it was in May, what was the first thing that we did when we started working together?
The first thing we did is you had a look at my profile. You kind of asked me what I was currently doing to find artists to try and sell beats. For me, there's a few different things you made me change. Like it was getting rid of my YouTube channel, which was pretty much unsuccessful at the time. It was to not try and like traffic people to my BeatStars. And it was to first like message artists or like people on Instagram that I already knew within music. And to get on Zoom calls and start getting the reps into like try and sell beats online through Zoom to artists. They were the major first changes, and to begin with, that's where I started. The people who I already knew, and just to start reaching out to new artists as well, and basically get familiar with like the process that you do.
Gotcha. Yeah, which was like, it's a lot of massive changes, especially like coming from what we were doing before. Because walk people through, like, what was your strategy before we started working together? Like, what were you doing step by step?
That's a good question. I don't even know what it really was before. It was pretty messy. I think I used to be in like group chats and try and message people through there, and that I had some success with it, but very limited and not like regular. I had the YouTube channel, which I was trying to get people onto Instagram and then onto BeatStars. But honestly, very little. I'd also tried like SoundCloud. I'd tried like DMing people and stuff. And I think that's what I really liked about what you helped me with too, is like having a system that makes sense that I can regularly rely on. And I literally don't do any of those other things anymore. I just do the one thing and try and do it well. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, and now, you're making good money off of beats now too, but you weren't making $0 off of it. Like even though you didn't have like a tried and proven process, you were making some money before.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, what was working about what you were doing before, and then what do you feel like was broken that caused you to want to change?
What was working was, I think, trying to build good relationships with artists. And I feel like what was broken was pretty much every other thing, actually. To be honest, like nothing else was really consistent. And probably the biggest thing that was broken was just the method of trying to email beats to artists and try and like ask for a sale later. And that's what I really like about what you helped me with too. Is like, hey, you're building these relationships with artists. You can keep building them. You can do that even better on Zoom. And you can actually like position yourself as a person in space to help them and get on a Zoom call and be even more personable, and then offer it in a way that like protects you as well. So that was really the biggest change, because like I had artists before say to me, like, I want to work with you, I want to buy your beats, but very rarely did anything actually come from that. Like it did occasionally, but then that's what I like about the Zoom calls. It's like, having a real conversation, you're face to face, you do a bit of like a virtual handshake, and all of those deals actually do happen and go through, which means more music and the fact I can actually have a business around it. So
Yeah, because you were getting pretty good results like in the first 30 days. So just to walk people through who might be listening of what we did, the first thing we implemented, like you were saying, is to go through your followers, artists that already were on there that knew you, followed you, already trusted you, and to do reach out to them, but instead of selling in the DMs like we had been doing and doing that long process of messaging, we were pushing them onto calls where you would do a trust call for a few minutes, get to know them, get them to trust you, and then you would do that Zoom call next where they would show up ready to buy and you're selling. So let's talk a little bit about like what were you even offering on these Zoom calls? What price were you selling it at? And then what were your results the first month?
Okay. Yeah. So the first month I made 2,000 and I was selling like B packs at 250 each. So I sold like 8 of those to artists who I already knew. And it's like funny you say that because I remember showing you like some of my DMs and they were very long and drawn out. And like before I started working with you, they were very like, I guess aimless would be a word. And I had like a relationship built, but I didn't actually know really how to pitch things or how to make it make sense for both me and the artist. So it's like, yeah, I already had some artists which I built rapport with and were cool with, and yeah, they follow my stuff. And then it's like, hey, like let's jump on Zoom, let's have the vibe session that you do. And from that, it's yeah, I made like $2,000 selling 8 lots of that 250 B pack the first month. So it was good, and it was like helpful too because I actually kind of already had a bit of rapport with those people. So it's like it was still nervous to do it the first few times, like it was still a bit uncomfortable, but it made it a little bit easier. And then like from there, it was just having a conversation and trying to figure out like how to work together in a way that makes sense. Yeah, which was honestly awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you were saying before, like you had relationships with them. It was just via text. So you had like conversations, but not necessarily conversions. And I think that was like one of the biggest changes that happened that first month, that got you to 2,000, which was awesome. First 30 days to get 8 sales. But like to be clear, that wasn't what your goal was. Because what was your original goal? I guess like what we talked about before we started the program.
It was 4,000. I remember I came to you and I said I'd like to make like $4,000 a month. Um, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So like to get to 2K to 4K, I guess like what changed to double the amount of beat sales coming in and how long did that take?
Okay. So yeah, I started in like May with you and yeah, I was selling at 250. And I remember like after I did that a few times, I remember you saying to me like, hey, Jeremy, I feel like you're getting a bit too comfortable. Let's like bump it up. And we first went to 400. And I started selling at that. And I sold my first deal at 400. And then I sold a few more. And then, yeah, we bumped up to 500. And the first month I actually like broke that 4K barrier. I actually hit 6,000 was I started like selling a new offer as well, which is like a partnership I do with artists like one-on-one where I give them access to like my full beat catalog to use like unlimited leases on. And then I also basically like mentoring and help them like on Zoom calls too and help them with like mastering and stuff. So when I added that offering that you recommended like me to do, when I offered that as like something I did, the first month I literally yeah hit 6,000, which was in December of 2024. Yeah.
Yep. So to get to our goal, May to December is how long it took. And I think like it takes focus, it takes concentration, and you have to be into doing music for the long haul to have that kind of focus. So it's not like a get rich quick scheme. And that's what I think
Mhm.
like a lot of producers get wrong is they're like, what can I do where tomorrow everything changes, even though I'm not making very much today? And it's like that's just not how it works. You have to build yourself as a person, you have to build the skills, and you have to be patient. And I think you modeled all of that really well. And like to be clear, the only change we made to go from 2,000 to 3,000 was changing the price, which
Yeah.
I thought was amazing because it just showed that, and that's where a lot of us as producers have that limiting belief that we can only charge a certain amount, but it's all in our head. It comes down to if the music is striking them in a way where they want to make songs with it, and at that point you can raise your price. So, because I believe when you changed it to 400, you still got 8 sales, or correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's right. I remember like I made like 3,200, which is yeah, 8 sales at 400. And it was literally just that. It was the exact same offer, exact same thing, just the price was 400 instead of 250. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like that just kind of breaks that, that kind of like habit that we fall into of just saying we can only charge this for beats, or we can only charge this for customs. I mean, these were unlimited packs where you would sell like, 5, 10, 15 beats. It doesn't really matter, but whatever price they want to pay for it, which was ended up being 4 and 500. So it's like you're doing leases for what most producers sell exclusives for. So that was the first offer, and then we moved into that partnership. And what I really wanted to give people listening is like the real specifics of it. So like if they don't know, we use pillars to sell it. So that's just like what separates us from other producers. So if you can just walk us through like how many pillars did you have? What were those pillars exactly? Like what was in those that made them stand out, and then what price point you're selling it at?
Yeah. So I had three pillars. The first pillar was like access to all my beat catalog to use the beats unlimited, like unlimited leases. And then the second pillar was I master the tracks. Like once they've mixed it and finished it, they want to upload it. They'd send it to me. I'd master it within 24 hours and get it back to them. And the third pillar was I do like a 1 hour Zoom call with them every month. And I'd call that like a coaching call or a curation call. And that's literally that offer that I did at 2,500. I literally started offering that in December of 2024. And then, yeah, I sold it twice that month. So it's like, that's what the offer was. I was doing it at 2,500. Like since then I've bumped it up, but that's where I started at. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think what stands out is that like a lot of artists that, and even like the ones that I've talked to recently, they are looking for longer term relationships.
Yeah.
They're not really looking for, and a lot still are looking for kind of like the hit it and quit it type stuff where you just sell something very short term. They go to another producer and buy beats, and they're just kind of constantly looking for different ice cream flavors. I use that analogy a lot, but at the same time, there's a few artists that are looking for those longer term relationships. So, what do you think about your offer struck the artist's nerves the most that got them to want to work with you on that?
That's a great question. I think part of it is the relational aspect of like being able to work with someone one on one, get feedback, get help, someone that's like actually in your corner and wants to help you. It's the access to all the beats, like it makes creating easier. And they did already like my beats, but it's like I think the beats are really important, but it's also like yeah, the coaching aspect, the one on one aspect, and then the mastering helps as well. It's like they get to hear their music in a quality that was better than what they could do on their own or what they would usually pay for. So it's like it was just like a way to, I guess, improve their current music quality and also like have someone on their team trying to help them one on one. I think that's what a lot of artists do want, like you said, which is like people who actually want to see them win and are actually helping them. So I'd say it was that.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and I mean, I enjoyed it from my perspective too, so it was cool.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's like, and what would you say to like producers who are kind of just mind boggled by the fact that you're selling this partnership for $2,500 and artists are willing to pay it, even though they're not making a penny back from their music? Like, what would you kind of say to those producers who can't get past the fact that the artist isn't getting a return on the money investment per se?
I'd say like depends on what the artist wants out of it. So it's like that's really how the producer should think about it. Is like people pay for stuff all the time, like pay for things all the time in the world where maybe they get like for example a car that maybe is more than what they need. And it's like the reason they do that is because they like the way it makes them feel. Maybe they look cooler. They have, it gets them to point A to point B a little bit more comfortable. The air conditioning is really good. The seats are really nice. It's kind of like that. I think I don't think people always necessarily make an investment based on if I put in X amount of money, I get X amount of money back. It's more about like, yeah, how if it makes their life easier, which I think is really what it did. And also just like I think a lot of artists struggle with confidence. So it's like if they have someone in their corner helping them along the way, helping build their confidence, I think that's what they also pay for. is like having someone on their team to help them and like boost them up and actually keep them accountable and try and achieve those goals they're trying to achieve. And the truth is, a lot of people are missing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And like a lot of producers, we still can't wrap our minds around that. It's just like the artist doesn't even want to recoup in a lot of cases. That's not their goal. Their goal is to build a catalog of music they're proud of and music that they felt inspired by that helped them to create something special. And that's why they picked up a microphone in the first place and started to write. So I think that you really, really were passionate about helping them with that. So it's probably not for producers who just want to make money and that's it. It's for producers who want to help develop artists too. And that's what the artists are looking for. That's what they're willing to pay the money for. Um, now, so you got to 6K in December, and we didn't stop there. We actually pushed to get to our first 5-figure month. So what do you think like kept you hungry and motivated to get to the next level instead of just being comfortable and kind of just sitting at 6K a month?
Well, I think like when I first hit 6K, I was really excited and I shared it with you and you're like, hey, that's awesome. Like, let's go for 10. And there was a little bit of self-doubt, to be honest, to begin with, like, wow, that's a lot. But then I think I knew it could happen as well. So I just like, it just seemed a bit crazy at the time, but I think for me, I really wanted to make it happen and I did try really hard and I just kept trying to improve. And this is kind of a bit on the side, but it's funny, like being able to make more music is really exciting to me as well. So I love being able to like sell that music I've been making. So it's like been creating more, wanted to, I don't know, like to hit $10,000 seemed like just an amazing idea to me. I wanted to try and do it. And I did. So like it was awesome. Like it's probably the most confidence and like self-respect I've ever had for myself in terms of like music or business. So it was on it. It was awesome. And like honestly, I don't have a great answer for you. I just really wanted to try and make it happen. And I knew I could do it and you helped me see that. So yeah.
And it's like sometimes all you need is belief. And it's easy as that sounds, it's like once you have the tools in your toolbox, what you build with that is up to you. And you can only build as much as you believe. And like honestly, I just felt like you're just kind of made to do that kind of stuff, and you really attacked it in a very tactical way. And like I definitely want to walk through specifics and then like kind of get to your story about how what you're kind of thinking about in terms of producing full time before any of all of this. But with what changed, we definitely added in like offers that were more expensive. But walk them through like where were you finding this artist? How were you finding them? What was your messaging strategy? And then what was your process between like what did you do on the first call? And then how did you get them onto a next call where they'd even show up wanting to pay you money for beats?
Yeah. So the process was kind of the same for both the BPAC offer and the larger offer. But like what I would do is I'd find artists on Spotify. I then go message them on Instagram. Like you can find their Instagram through Spotify. And then I would go message them and like compliment them on a song I'd heard and give like a specific feedback to the song. Like maybe I like the melodies or like the hook or whatever it was. I would just make a specific compliment to that. Then from there, I'd just like have a small conversation with them, which you like help me with as well in terms of like, I guess, knowing where to take it and how to get to where you need to go a bit quicker. Because before I was very slow. I would just talk to people for way too long, didn't really know where I was going. It's like you kind of helped me nail down on that. Then I look to like see what they're looking to make next. And if I have what they're looking to make next, I feel like confident I can help them and it's like a similar sound. I actually like the person's music. Then I look to like jump on a triage call with them on the phone. And sometimes even on Zoom, but like recently it's been on the phone a lot. And then just get to know them, see where they're at right now, like learn a little bit about them, themselves and their music and where they want to be in the future with it. And then, if I like know I can help them with either beats or like the bigger offer, look to get on Zoom and kind of show them what I do and go through the beats and just build rapport and connection with them and show them how I can help them. And then from there, if I can, then I look to sell it to them. And yeah, that's literally what I do.
Got you. Got you. So, in what changed with the offer between 6K and 10K? Because I know we raised prices on a couple of things.
Yeah. So for the bigger offer, like in December when I did 6K, I was selling it at 2,500. And then every two times I sold it, I just bump it up $500 because the truth is I actually knew it would probably be worth more. And you helped me kind of see that too, and always giving me that confidence and that push. So then in September, I was selling it at 3,500, which I sold twice. And I sold like a 1 year offer at 1,500. And I also sold 3 beat packs at 500. And I did like a few small mastering gigs too. So I hit about $10,200. And then now currently I sell the partnership offer at 4,000, and I've sold that once since then. But yeah, in September, I was selling it at 3,500 and I sold that twice. And then those other offers I mentioned, which was how I got to 10,000. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like the price flexibility because like if you only stay at the price where you're comfortable selling it at, it doesn't actually reflect the value of what you're selling. Like it's worth what the market pays for it. And so like as harsh as that sounds, it's like you should raise your price until people no longer pay for it. And you know, if you think that's the wrong philosophy, you can do the opposite and just lower your price to zero because I'm sure more people would want to work with you for free or for $1. You know, so but the interesting thing about it is that raising your price doesn't deter nearly as many people as you think. But lowering your price also doesn't attract much more people than you would think.
Yeah.
So if I go and lower my price, like I charge $1,500 for a beat, but me lowering it to 1,000 doesn't get me more customers. It doesn't line up more people. And I think that's the important thing is that like whenever producers start offering deals and discounts, it doesn't actually really help their business. It's instead it attracts people who are looking for cheap things. And so overall, that's going to bloat your business with more people paying you less money. And then after a certain amount of time, if somebody offers something cheaper, cuts you out of the market. Whereas if you have people looking for the most premium value thing they can find and you charge the most, they will perceive you charging the most as you being the best. Because nobody's who's the best is the cheapest, and no one who's the cheapest is the best. So that's what I liked about your offer, man. You know, and obviously it converted really well. I guess like whenever someone says like, "Hey, it's too expensive," like let's kind of walk through like tactically what you do to overcome that. Like what are kind of some of the go-to phrases you say, tactics you use in order to overcome that and offer them something that works for them?
Yeah. I just want to say quickly too on that last thing you were mentioning, like, yeah, you really helped me understand that I can raise my prices because I feel like before that, the YouTube videos I'd watch and stuff before I like joined your program, it was more leaning me that direction to lower my prices and feel like I have to lower them to get business. It's not true at all. And then through like, yeah, actually making myself sell a premium thing and do that, that's what helped me level up and position myself as someone who actually can help. Otherwise, you're just like in a sea of 1,000 and you don't really stand out. You don't really have anything special to offer that actually helps people. So I guess when artists say to me like it's expensive, I mean, a lot of the time what I hear is like people actually like my offer and they know what they like, oh, I think it's worth it. Like they say, hey, I know it's worth it. This is crazy what you're offering. This is like great value. I just don't know if I have $4,000 right now. So it's like they do see the value in it. So then usually where I'll go from there is trying to like, okay, I understand like it is a lot of money. Like, is it something you see the value in? And they're like, yeah, I see the value in it. I want to do it. It's like just a lot of money for me right now. I said, okay, I totally get that. I guess like with everything I laid out, like, does it feel like it's going to help you progress to the goals they've mentioned to me? And I'll say, yes, like they do always say, yes, I think this part would help me because I want to be able to release more. And like your mastering sounds good. So like, I know it's getting better quality. And then from there, basically, once I understand that, hey, they do like what I'm doing, they see the value, I want to just like figure out basically if there's a payment plan we can figure out that works for them. because I do understand like $4,000 can be a lot, but it's like if they see the value in it, they're gonna want to find a way to make it work, which is what we usually do, and then we figure out an amount we can do each month until it's paid, while I'm still like upholding the service. And that's honestly what most people go with. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's important. It's like whenever someone says it is too expensive, they might say it's just too expensive to do all at once. And also, like sometimes it just means that they don't see the value in it. And we need to go and make sure that we've explained everything correctly and make sure that we go and bring up what they were looking for in the first place and seeing if this solves their problem. Because at the end of the day, the artist is paying for you to solve a problem. They're not just looking at the price tag and choosing the cheapest option. And so I think that that's important to have that process where we go and say, well, was this valuable to you? And then they're like, yes. Well, like, okay, so we figure out price. Is there a way we can move forward today? And tying it down to that, and that allows you to move forward. So yeah, I love that closing the tactic for sure.
Yeah.
Because also, I don't know if you had anything else to add on to that.
I was going to say, you taught me that really. Like, you taught me that, like, money aside, like, is this something you want to do? Money aside, like, and that's a phrase I definitely started saying a lot as well. And a lot of the time, it's like they do want to find a way to make it work. It's just like you have to help them, I guess, solve that problem of figuring out a method and amount they can do. So it's like that's definitely stuff you help me a lot with as well, to like know how to move around some of those objections people put up, because the truth is in the past I didn't know those things, and like I would kind of just take it at face value, and it's like, hey, you're potentially leaving people who actually do want to invest in you and themselves, you're leaving them on the table and the money on the table because you didn't know how to have the conversation the right way. So yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. It's so true for sure. Because like, I mean, you're a testament that you can make a really decent living online selling beats. Because I don't think you have like any like super like major placements or anything, or like work with Drake or but also like we didn't really post very much content. I think maybe like 10 or 12 pieces of content the entire length of the program so far. So like what do you think are some really limiting beliefs that producers have around like either using a method like this or just selling beats online for a living in general?
I think those things you touched on, honestly, like that they think you need a massive placements, and once you have massive placements, you'll have a reputation, and then you can do like big business. They think that you need to post 1,000 pieces of content, and like, yeah, I'm sure those things can work for some people, but it's not at all what I did. And I'm glad it isn't, because it's not things I really wanted to do either. I got to do, like, you taught me a method that I get to do, like what I want to do that actually makes sense for me. And yeah, I guess for me, it was more just like building the relationships with people who I wanted to work with, and figuring out like a way to make a connection and do good business around that, while obviously upholding a good service. So like a lot of the time, the placement stuff too, if I want to be really honest, it's like they just like send files back and forth. It's like the artist a lot of the time doesn't seem to have a whole lot of incentive to wanting to go with any particular person. So I think that's kind of the strength, is like the human connection, and yeah, doing good business for people. And if they see that, they want to going to come back, and also they're going to recommend you to other people and stuff. So that was kind of like the mentality I had that you helped me with, and it's good. Like I love being able to jump on Zoom and talk to someone. Like I genuinely do. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be like kind of the key there is like who this is wrong for is people who are just in it for money, who don't really want to engage with artists regularly, or who are in a niche that is not going to sell. Which you're in a good niche, which is we can talk about. But yeah, like really like the key things that are going to make this work is just like a passion to help artists, and really like work with them on that personal level, and then charging high ticket. So you may have to break some beliefs around like I can't charge this much or I won't charge this much, because it's going to make it a lot harder to live full time off of it. And then I think like The third thing is that you just have to accept the fact that we have to put in some kind of work to get better skills so that we can get more leverage for the time we put in.
Yeah, I definitely used to love like asking you so many questions too. Like you teach me so much stuff. Like at the beginning, I didn't really know. Like I remember I'd just come to all the calls and ask you all the questions because for me, it's like I wanted to learn. I could see it had value. I could see you were doing it and you'd had success with it. It's like I just want to learn it and try and implement it myself. And with like the limiting beliefs around producers saying like I can't charge that much, I view it like just as the car thing I mentioned before. It's like people buy cars that are super expensive all the time, even if they drive from point A to point B the same way. It's like that's not that's not the reason why they pay it though. Like they pay it because it's comfortable and yeah, the air conditioning is nice and like they get all the accessories, the extras. And I think it's very limiting to try and assume you know what artists want. What some artists really do actually want to just make their creative process easier. They want to be able to work with someone. They want to hear that they're doing well. They want to know that people are supporting them and like pushing them to do better. Like people want that. And I think that's what producers don't think about a lot of the time, where they want to just sell beats online and be a ghost.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So it just comes down to what's the best way to get there too. Because I mean, like if you're trying to, go to an island, for example, in the Pacific Ocean, you can get there with, by boat, by paddle boat, you can get there by plane, or you can get there by yacht, and it all gets you to the destination, but it's going to be a different experience. So, like, what would you kind of say is the best path if a producer wanted to get to like $2,000 in a month really quickly? Like, what do you think would be the fastest, most effective path to get there?
Yeah, I genuinely think like selling beats through Zoom calls because I've did all those other things like we mentioned earlier, and I've never had the success I've had with my old methods of doing things. Like I did occasionally get on phone calls, but it was not consistent and it wasn't building the right amount of rapport or as much as I needed. And I definitely never sold anything above $500. So it's like now it's selling for $4,000. It's like I couldn't do that before. I couldn't even imagine how to do that in tax, to be honest. So it's like, yeah, honestly, jumping on the Zoom calls and it's just like being in the studio, it's like a virtual studio session. So it's like it's just the best way to connect with someone. I think you can actually help people more that way too. So that's why I think you can make more money doing it, because it's actually the most genuine and the most helpful. That's why someone would pay you more money for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and again, like, the steps to get there was like utilize Spotify playlists to find the artist and message them on Instagram. And instead of messaging them for a long period of time and like developing the relationship there, it was to push them to a shorter call, maybe around like 20 to 40 minutes, and get to know them. Don't sell them anything. But once the trust is there, you can go and transfer that to the Zoom call. And that's where you would preview your ideas. You would try to get onto the same side of the table with them and say like, hey, I'm on your side. Like, what can we do to help you be more creative? And then sell high ticket, one of those offers. And so, yeah, you've changed your price 16x since you joined the program, and people still buy it. So that's just, it's always interesting, whenever they move forward, but they see the value in it, and it helps us and helps them.
That's crazy to think about. I've never even thought about that. Yeah, 16x. I've never actually thought about that. That's ridiculous. Yeah, it started at 250 and then literally, yeah, I sold it something for 4,000 in October. So like, yeah, sometimes I've got to remember that too and like remember those things. But yeah, it is incredible. I love it. And yeah, I couldn't have done any of it without you. And you've been like the whole way along pushing me. And when I've come to you with questions and not knowing like where I need to go, you've helped me stay on task and also know what to remove. Like it's a big part of it too. You've like helped me remove a lot of the things from my process that weren't helpful. So yeah, like the truth is, I said to you before, but like the truth is I couldn't have done it without you. And like, I don't even know what I'd be doing with my music right now had I not met you and invested in you and started selling beats through Zoom calls through your program. Like, that's the truth. I ask myself that sometimes, is like, what would I be doing? And honestly, I reckon I'd probably still be making music as a hobby, and I probably would have just picked up a job again to just make sure I have all my bills paid, because I want to have a family in the near future. So it's like, that is the other side of it too. It's like, that is probably what my reality would look like right now. Very grateful it isn't. Very grateful that I met you and I trusted my gut to work with you. And I love that I'm hearing the other side of it, because I don't even want to imagine what the other side would look like.
Hope you enjoyed the case study. And if you've been looking for a reliable system to sell your beats online, you want consistent income, but you don't want to go and start a YouTube type beat channel and upload beats every single day. And you definitely don't want to jump on the content hamster wheel on Instagram and TikTok. Well, if you want an alternative that allows you to sell up to 4-figure beats without relying on a label, I want to teach you my rapid sell system. This is what I've taught dozens of producers one-on-one to make thousands of dollars online. If you're interested in speaking with me personally face-to-face to see if this system would be a good fit for you or not, I have a program called the High Ticket Producer Mastermind, where I break all of this down so you don't have to duct tape everything together. We can hop onto a roadmap call and I can break this down step by step and get you unstuck so that you can go from where you're at to where you want to go. If that sounds good and you want to speak personally with me one-on-one, book a free roadmap call with the link in the description or the pinned comment, and I'll talk with you soon. You can watch this video next, and I will see you in the next one.